What is good? Osiris here, stuck in the middle, and we're coming in hot with this one. This is breaking news. There's more information coming out by the second. You'd have to go to Twitter. Twitter's the best place. Elon Musk talked about it. This is the FTX scandal with Sam Bankman-Fried. His name is Bankman. You can't make this stuff up. When you look at the connections that he's had, it's a huge story. This is the story. If this were, it involves anti-Trump sentiment, almost like any other story out there, always comes back to anti-Trump. You gotta start wondering why that is. Pro-Brandon, money, pro-Brandon, pro the sunflower country. In this company, FTX, is pretty much, this is alleged, but it's all breaking. Go look at it. Bankrupt, money laundering Ponzi scheme. This is stuff of the most serious nature. There's so much going on, I've got to hold myself. Let me explain what's happening. This is exclusive through Reuters. At least $1 billion of client funds missing at FTX. What's FTX? FTX is this crypto exchange. And basically, I'm no expert in this. I have money in Coinbase. But basically what it is you take, the most common thing is you take your money, whether it's dollars or euros, you take your dollars, you give it to this website. That's all it is a website. They take your money and then you tell them, I want this much crypto here, 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 and here. That's not something that's easy to do unless you have somebody aggregating across the different blockchains and giving you what the exchange rate is. So you're taking money and you're giving it to this website. And they're supposed to be taking your money, holding it, very similar to stocks like Robinhood. You give Robinhood money and they purchase the stocks for you. And you see it in your app, you've got this much in your stock. But what the danger is that always happens with these things, I used to play poker back in the day, gave my money to these poker sites. I never lost my money. I was able to get it out. I loved playing poker, but it came out later that they didn't have the funds that everybody gave in. That's a Ponzi scheme. So if people are giving in about $1 billion to a website to play poker, then the website should have $1 billion to pay out. If you can't fulfill the duties to pay out the money to everybody who has the money in, it is a Ponzi scheme. So if everybody says, I want my money, then you should be able to pay that out. So what they do is they take the newcomers and then the money, some of the money from the newcomers goes to people who want to withdraw. And that's what allegedly was happening here. FTX founder Bankman-Fried secretly moved money in funds to a trading firm, Alameda Sources. This is alleged. I'm not reporting this. This is through Reuters. So they're saying that, okay, this website has this money, taking this money from people. He took it, 10 billion, and said, I'm going to take 10 billion out of this pot and put it over here to do whatever else with. We're going to talk about what he did with some of that allegedly, anti-Trump, pro-Biden, pro-sunflower country. This is deep. Buckle in. This will be a quick ride. Bankman-Fried showed spreadsheets to colleagues that revealed shift in funds to Alameda Sources. Spreadsheets indicated between $1 to $2 billion in client money is unaccounted for. Executives set bookkeeping backdoor. So let's look at that backdoor. So we have the website. How do you keep this out of the way of other people seeing it? In subsequent examination, FTX legal and finance teams also learned that Bankman-Fried, here's Bankman-Fried, this ugly-looking, untrustworthy MFer. Easy to say, I don't want to judge a book by its cover. Now that we know what the allegations are, I feel comfortable in saying that.
But Sam is not a traditional billionaire because he believes in the concept of earn to give.
These two people described it as a backdoor in FTX bookkeeping system so you can take the money without anybody seeing. They said the backdoor allowed Bankman-Fried to execute commands that could alter the company's financial records without alerting other people, including external auditors. This setup meant that the movement of the $10 billion in funds to Alameda did not trigger internal compliance or accounting red flags. That avoids regulations as well. So they do a raid on Don Dada. So they go up to Mar-a-Lago, they do a raid on him for what? He was the president of the United States. There ain't no files that's more classified than the president of the United States can see. That does not exist other than in your view of the administrative state, potentially. They roll up on him. They create IRS agents to dig into urinize taxes, and nothing here. In the financial crash of 2008, not one of the executives got put in handcuffs and sent to jail. Why? None of them even got subpoenaed. Nothing happened here. They're looking into it. They said that the SEC is looking into it. They're investigating it. I haven't heard a raid. They need to raid this dude. He's in the Bahamas, I guess, is the company's funded in the Bahamas. But let me tell you, this is where it gets deep. Did E-Island truly shut down, or did it just move? This is not me. This is allegations, speculations from gencocapital.eth. There's a lot of weirdish going on that's slowly coming out in the fallout of FTX. Wait till you hear this. FTX was founded in 2019. So Sam Bankman-Fried was not the CEO. He was the founder. And somehow managed to quickly become the biggest name in crypto. He was this big name dude. They sponsored the MLB. They sponsored basketball arenas. Sam Bankman-Fried heavily lobbying members of Congress. His face is all over the place as the next Warren Buffett. Here you go. Right here, world's largest corporations, fortune, and his ugly mug right here. This is the face of evil. This is a face of allegedly a face of a theft, of a criminal, and took money from common people like you and I and funneled it to the Democratic Party. One of the worst things, one of the worst organizations that has ever existed in our country is the Democratic Party. That's what it's become. It's a party of hate, a party of criminals, an anti-people party, a party of corporations. It is a disgusting organization. He looks kind of like Bernie. He kind of looks like Bernie Kosar a little bit. I love Bernie Kosar. I hate that he looks like this dude right here. But continuing, how do you elevate to such a position so quickly? Let's look at his parents. His dad has written about and made a career off of getting rid of the cash economy. So what's going to happen here? So now the government's probably going to look into their own allegedly, they're involved in this corruption, at least with donations. They're going to probably look into their own corruption. And then they're probably going to say, we need to do more regulations on crypto. So that would boost up the central bank digital currency, the CBDC, that would be funded through the bank of the government. So they're going to use their own corruption to have investigations. No one's probably going to go anywhere unless he, let's just say, has an accident with the cameras off. No one's going anywhere, and then they're going to put a lockdown on free markets. And helping the government find tax evasion. Odd that his son was the biggest name in crypto. His mom is a major Dem operative. His mom is Barbara Fried. Barbara Fried, Joe Biden, in 2019, well, let's look at this. In 2019, Joe Biden announces his presidential campaign. 13 days later, on May 8th, Sam Bankman-Fried, son of Barbara Fried is his mom, the co-founder of the political fundraising organization Mind the Gap and Get Out the Vote organizations, including the Center for Voter Information, launches the FTX crypto exchange. The exchange is an overnight success that enables Sam to become the second biggest donor to the Biden campaign. It really makes you think. Mrs. Fried launch is a totally grassroots Democrat PAC in July of 2018. Wonder how you're going to raise enough funds to make a difference. Son coincidentally becomes a multi-billionaire a few months later, that quickly. Sometimes things just have a way of working themselves out, I guess. So the mom has the PACs, wants to get involved democratically. That's the democracy they want to save. All this billions of dollars. Why do they have a personal limit on donations when all you have to do is take your billions and put it in a PAC? The limit on personal donations doesn't do anything at all. Here's Joseph Bankman. We're looking at his father, role of the tax structure in Silicon Valley startups, how government might control the use of tax shelters, and has testified before Congress and many other legislative bodies on tax compliance. Social psychology might be used in an effort to reduce tax evasion. What is social psychology? Distributive justice in the areas of tax policy, property theory, and political theory. That's Barbara H. Fried's scholarly interests. So we look at his mom. It's just out in the open. We're talking about it on Twitter. Like this, it's common knowledge. The press might not be talking about it, but we all know it's here. Looks like the CEO, who was Sam Bankman-Fried's girlfriend, also has connections in high places. Here we go, CEO of Goldman Sachs. And these other people here met with FTX. And here's a photo, all of them here. two major strands involved to get their discussion. One where Goldman would help FTX to get regulatory approvals. So his girlfriend, who's CEO, has connections to all these high up places, to all these high up people. Here's where we tie in Brandon and the Democrat Party. SBF was one of the largest donors to the Democrat candidates, second only to, wait for it, GS. Only second to GS. SBF gave the second largest donation to Joe Biden's presidential campaign in 2020. People in D.C. were tripping over themselves to try to get money from this dude. Spent a total of $50 million on Democrat interests. You tie in the sunflower country, and I don't want to say the name of the country because if you say the name of the country, your video could get flagged, and then if you say it enough and it's with a narrative that they don't approve on Google and YouTube, then you'll get demonetized. 1 month after the war in the sunflower country, DC Puppet VZ partnered with SBF for crypto donations. So the sunflower country, 1 month after the whole thing started, the guy who's tied into the establishment with our country partnered with this person for crypto donations. Remember, he's stealing money from you and I, this crypto donation, and somehow it looks like it's ending up, some of it at least, to the sunflower country. We've come to find out that when we look at this ad, he had this minimalist, poor lifestyle. That he didn't spend a lot of money. He drove a Toyota Corolla. Isn't that cute?
Need the money to buy a Lamborghini or to buy a Rolex or to impress his friend. Hold on. Where's your car?
It's that one there.
That's like what, a Toyota?
Yeah, it's a Corolla.
I've lived a very long life. I've met a lot of people. I've been broke. I've been rich. I've done it all. And 100% of the time when I meet a person who has lots of money and is very, very frugal with their lifestyle, they are not a good person. 100% of the time. I have a Bugatti. I'm sitting here. I've got a diamond Patek. I'm $6 million of watches, $15 million of cars, blah, blah. I give money away. I'm philanthropic. Fine. When I know people with lots of money and they sit there and they want to drive an old Toyota Corolla, or they're very frugal, they talk about investing, they save money. These people are always weirdos. Money has no value past a certain number. And if you're gonna sit there and hoard it past a certain number, there's actually a degree of greed inside of you. I'm not the greedy one. Me with my Bugatti and my diamond watches and my hundreds of millions of dollars buying everything, buying penthouses in Dubai, I'm not greedy. I'll give my money away. It's the people who hoard and live these very boring, frugal lifestyles that are truly greedy. And they're truly evil. FTX is a perfect example. If this motherfucker driving a nice fat Lambo and he had a big diamond watch and was living a life which a millionaire should live, I would have trusted him a bunch more. But when he sat there and said, I only drive a Corolla and I give all my money away and I just try and hoard it all to just help people, an alarm went off in my head because everybody I know who is like this, 100% of the time in my human experience, ends up being full of shit. What he is a dork who wanted to be powerful and influential. He realized that money won't stop him being a nerd because the girl he's hanging around with is still getting plowed by blockchain dev. So he wanted to have power, and when you want power, you need unlimited money, so he became infinitely greedy, trying to get as much money as possible to buy political parties, pretend he's doing charitable acts, just have influence and control over other people, then stands up and goes, I drive an old car and I have a cheap t-shirt. And you know what? You dumb him. You sat there and go, oh yeah, he's a good person. He won't famoose me for all my money. He doesn't care about money. People like him care about money more than people like me, because people like me spend our money. So next time you meet a guy who's rich but tight as be careful.
Turns out it was a lie. He lived in the Bahamas in a multi-million-dollar mansion with his closest circle of friends, where they allegedly have drug-fueled orgies. So it turns out that 10 of the FTX employees, founders, were involved romantically. We're talking Sam, Caroline, and company. I'm not sure what's worse, losing our money or having to imagine that orgy. 2 weeks ago, a big-name crypto developer who lived somewhere, PR, was sounding the alarm on government involvement, running a situation that reminds us of the E-Island. Somebody tried to blow the whistle, and somebody said that they're going to frame me with a laptop planted by my ex who was a spy. They will torture me to unlive. This is on Twitter. Maker DAO co-founder unlived at 29 in Puerto Rico. This stuff's dangerous to even talk about. Now, for where it gets even more interesting, Alameda Research, headed up by Ellison, mentioned earlier, and under the FTX brand, here's their logo. So Alameda Research was tied into FTX. Look at the logo for Alameda Research. And then on the right, you're going to see unclassified, law enforcement sensitive symbols and logos used by unsavory people for unsavory acts. And take a look at the logo. That's from the FBI. And this is the logo for Alameda Research. Here's a picture of Sam, and then see what the picture shows here. And then here's some other logos for people who do unsavory things. So far, we've tied in Brandon, we've tied in the Democratic Party, we've tied in PDs, we've tied in big money, we've tied in super PACs, we've tied in basically universities through his parents. I'll end with this. Financial Times reported that in the spreadsheet that they were looking at, this FTX company had assets of $900 million. But when they started looking into the books, there's also an obscure $7 million holding called Trump Lose. There's no Bitcoin assets listed despite Bitcoin liabilities of $1.4 billion. So tied into the Democrat Party, tied into the Sunflower Country, all that. And then this dude, what this looks to be, because people looked into this, I'm just resharing the research that I saw other people do. It looks like it's a position on a bet. The CEO of, or I should say the funder, or the, I don't even know who did what. This company, FTX, took user money and literally placed bets on Trump losing. I believe this is for 2024. Did a CC to friend of show, Will Cormier, said this is effing insane. Have you seen this? So they said that Caroline is the one that actually executed the OTC deal, which we're talking about this bet here against Trump. Here's the receipt. They're looking at the line item, 7.3. That's $7.3 million, and that's a bet against Donald Trump. And this is through this GCR, which I'm not familiar. I don't know if they do bets or a booking or what they do, but they did the 7.3 million users' money betting on Trump losing in 2024. There it is right there. Is the line item showed up. They got the receipts right here. And they said the price was around 10 to 12 at the time. I'd been telling people they probably hedged a Betfair. They hedged on Betfair since 2020, but I guess not. So they're funding Brandon, betting against Trump with regular people's money. It's going to take a lot to unravel this. We don't even know what we don't know yet. Let me know what you think. Is it too much information? I don't know. I'm still trying to put my head around it. I can't wrap my head around this. This is that bizarre. Let me know what you think. Take care.